Hello, this is Sim Racing Corner, and this is a Logitech G923, the latest wheel which replaces the Logitech G920 and G29. I only recently reviewed the Logitech G920 on the channel, so yeah, this is follows up quite quickly after my review, in fact. So I bought this in early September when it came out. I think it's the first week of September. It's taken 3 weeks to arrive. You can see it's all sealed. I have not had a look inside or anything like that, so this is definitely my first look at it, my first impression, etc. Currently on release, this is the full retail price is £349, so it's quite pricey. You can still get the Logitech G29 and G920 for £200 directly from Logitech. And another thing to know if you are new to Logitech wheels, excuse the noise a second, is during the Black Friday sale every year, you can Logitech wheels drop massively, and I think possibly in the New Year sales as well. But the G920 I purchased last year, and it cost me £118 from Amazon, brand new. So to understand that, this is basically more than double, and this new one. But also, the other thing is, this will drop in price as well at some point. So at the moment it's £349, which does put it right bang smack competing against the Thrustmaster T300. So this is actually a bit of a tough sell really for Logitech right now, because the T300 is a more powerful force feedback wheel. But this does have a new feature called TRUEFORCE. So you may have already watched videos on this, maybe seen some reviews. Some YouTubers, some mainstream gaming websites had these basically on release. They had them, well, probably a couple of weeks before they dropped. And reviews came out very, very quickly. So I'm kind of late to the game really, but I had no choice. I bought this, and I bought it on the day of release, but it took 3 weeks for it to get to me. So there's not much I can do about that. Let's have a look at the box. And if you look at it, yeah, it looks very much like the Logitech G29 and G920, because effectively it is just an evolution of their last wheel, which was on sale for 5 years. So after 5 years they've updated it, and have they really done that much to it? Well, that's the thing about it. You've got a wheel which you can arguably, it looks very similar to the last one. It's power supply, sticker, little pamphlet thing, other paper gumph, no problems, and you can just see packed in there briefly. Quick start guide. I think the light is making it impossible to see that, but yeah, it's just a quick start guide of plugging it all in, which is generally pretty simple. I'll take the pedals out first. So pretty familiar, right? Because they are identical to the other older pedals, basically. Let me put this to one side for the moment and get back to that. Okay, and all that's left is the wheel. Let's grab that out. Just some packing stuff in there, nothing else in there. Last look in the box, just some details there, what it offers. Just pointing out the features. X-ray of the internals there. You can see there's 2 motors in there. Let's get out of the way. Let's get this out of the packet. Okay. Well, it seems really familiar. because 3 weeks ago I reviewed my Logitech G29, and I will bring one in now. And it is basically identical, other than you can just see there's got more black on it, there's red there, and it's gone for a darker accent. Well, this one's for the PlayStation, this one is the Xbox version, but they are both basically very similar. The back, well, just a different logo on there, but you can see it's exactly the same case. And in every other way, yeah, it's identical. 2 mounting points, the clamps, and interestingly, this one feels a little bit smoother. I can hear it as well. I'm not sure if it gets picked up on the microphone here, but you can hear the rubbing, obviously, of the, you know, it's obviously going to have some sort of noise, but it's pretty smooth. That one feels a little bit more notchy, interestingly. So maybe they've done some other changes, but I'll leave that there just for a moment in case I'm going to bring it back in. But just check the paddle shifters. Are they same? Yeah, same paddle shifters. So they're just stainless steel and silver. They're not painted. And here they're in black. They feel identical. They sound the same. Got TRUEFORCE on there. So the only real upgrade that's happened since this one in 5 years, effectively, which is going to be very disappointing for a lot of people. I'm not sure if this is a good upgrade if you already own one of these. Is you got the 2 motors as before, same amount of power in the force feedback as the previous gen, but there is an additional haptic motor somewhere in here, which is what the TRUEFORCE is, and it just adds vibration effect to the wheel. So not force feedback in the sense of adding resistance, force feedback, you know, when you're going over bumps and the wheel will start kind of shaking, or going around corners and you feel counter force resistance. What it is more to do with, like, think of like a PlayStation or Xbox controller gamepad, the haptic feel of it vibrating. So that's what you've got extra. So you've got an extra layer of effect, independent of the motors, because one thing about TRUEFORCE is it's proprietary, and it will only work with games that have added support for it. So this is something I will go into in future content. I don't really want to kind of labour on the point on this one, because this is really an unboxing, just having a look at it, really, isn't it? So let me get onto that, because I think I've kind of gone off the point a little bit. But you can just see there, leather stitched rim. I think it's 27 centimeters, which is the same as the old one. Slightly different stitching, so the stitching is a bit more discreet on the new one. Not that the stitching was bad before, but yeah, but it feels the same, but technically very nice. I do like the stitch wheel on it. It's got also I've always liked the Logitech wheels, even though they're small diameter. They're actually nicely proportioned around the handle, so it does feel like a bigger wheel rim. It just has a really nice ergonomic feel and kind of big, full feel. So that's something I've always enjoyed about those. So that's good. That hasn't changed. But essentially, yes, it's not much of a big upgrade from this one. There is a difference in the pedals than before, other than a slight change in colour. Previous pedals from the G29, G920, that was red on those on these little kind of tube sections, where the springs are in there. The only other difference as well is in the last pedals, on the brake pedal they had a spring and then a rubber bumper. So you had like a linear spring, which then you hit a rubber bumper and then squash past that to give you a bit more tactile feel on the brake pedal, to help you gauge your braking better, and I thought that worked really well. So instead they've replaced that now with a progressive spring and not a linear spring. A progressive spring means a linear spring is like this, where no matter where when you just press it, it just feels the same amount of tension through the whole motion from 0 to 100 basically. Same with that one. Slightly stronger spring in the clutch pedal there. So in the brake pedal we have a spring which should basically, as I push it, it should actually get stronger as the resistance should get stronger as I push down on it. And it does. It's not particularly strong actually. It's well, it's not too bad. I mean, I can't do it with one. I can't compress it with one. I can, with my thumb I can compress those. That's easier. And this one, I can't do it, but with my hand I can, and it does. It does build up over time, that tension. And that should allow you to judge your braking with a bit more consistency. I'll find out when I actually get my feet on it. It's difficult to really tell from here, but I can definitely tell it requires some effort as it gets to the 100%. Interesting why they got rid of the rubber bumper from the last one. I'm not sure if it's the rubber maybe perished, or they just felt, or people complained about it being too stiff, because it was pretty stiff, that rubber bumper, and you did need to really have a good solid mounting to somewhere to allow it to, otherwise the pedals would just shift away. And even so, to be fair, you can just see there, if this was on the floor and I'm putting brakes on there, you can just see this thing's gonna, to get to 100%, this thing's going to move around as well. So you still got the same problem as before. I mean, obviously there's no problem with those because they're weaker springs, but here it will move around. If you have carpet, they do have this very nice, clever little device which flips out, and you can see there's these. You can see that. So it's retractable, and there's just teeth in there, which will then grip into your carpet, and so when you push on it, it will just basically hold in. If you've got a hard floor, then these are still going to be tough to use, I think. You're going to have to prop something behind it. Use a wheel stand, or or obviously a sim racing setup. Sim racing cockpit would be better for you. These. I've always quite liked the Logitech pedals, even though they haven't changed in years. Since the G25, they're basically the same design. Nothing has actually changed, but also other than them changing the spring in there, I've always found them to be quite good. And they haven't changed them because they get the job done and everyone's generally happy with them. So I kind of understand that. But unfortunately, that's exactly what they've done with this as well. They have the reliability, obviously, should have the same reliability of the previous generation of Logitech wheels, and they really haven't done a lot here, quite honestly. £349 at the time of making this video, I don't think it's worth that much money. I think it is definitely something which, when it drops down, as it will over time, and it gets that £200 mark, and maybe even lower during sale times, then I think it'll be absolutely fine. It'll be as worthwhile to buy. It'll be a good purchase. I wouldn't necessarily say it's going to be a good upgrade if you already have one of these, because you're not really getting a ton much more, are you? Unless TRUEFORCE is absolutely bonkers and amazing, which I will find out soon, and I will make a follow-up video on this, and I'll look at TRUEFORCE and do some tests on it. I also will review this in a more slicker, more polished video. These unboxing videos, they're just basically my first thoughts, and a little bit rambling. I realise that they're not particularly polished, but this is my first impression of the Logitech G923. It's basically that, isn't it? And with some minor things, and hopefully TRUEFORCE is such an amazing feature that it kind of that it makes it worthwhile that they've done very little in every other sense to the actual basic platform of their Logitech wheels. Because I know a lot of people have been disappointed. They feel that Logitech have missed an opportunity. 5 years this was being sold for. And this wasn't a massive update over the G27, which again was something that was out for possibly 5 years. I'm not sure what its lifespan was, but yeah, it was that had a few years in it as well, and they didn't really do a lot to it. It's the same motor mechanism in this as that one. That one, they refined the mechanics a little bit with the cog, so it just felt a little bit smoother. But that's kind of what they did, and just changed from a round wheel to a D shape and made it look a little bit more modern. But that's the difference from the G27 to the G29 and G920. Not a lot. They didn't really do a lot in that. So it wasn't a kind of an evolution. It's just a revolution. It's a bit more of a tiny evolution, just refinement of the previous generation. And this is pretty much in the same thing. They've basically just taken that, given it a bit of a paint job, added an extra feature to it. So it has to be good. Otherwise, it does make this a little bit of a waste of time, really. But we'll see. Check the channel in 2 to 3 days' time. I'll put out a video on TrueForce. I'll do some testing, find out what it's like, because definitely I'm going to get this on the rig basically after I finish this video and have uploaded it, because I want to find out, is it a big thing? Is it worth it? Is it worth upgrading? Is it worth paying £349 when a T300 is a more powerful force feedback wheel, and arguably probably a better wheel than the Logitechs at this price point? That's the thing. It's all about price to performance, and if this doesn't deliver something massively impressive, then yes, it may even be a waste of time and not be worth your attention, and it may be worth still spending less and getting one of these. So we'll find out very soon, so keep tuned, and if you have bought one of these, definitely let me know. And I guess there's going to be people that are going to want to have their own opinion on this as well. And I expect we're going to share the same opinion, that why did they not do much to it, but we'll see. But yeah, if you bought one and you have one, let me know what you think. If you actually have one of these, or an older Logitech wheel, and you bought this to replace it, this new one, yeah, again, let me know. Share your thoughts with everyone. It's always good to everyone to have their have their opinions, shared around the community. That's what we do here. More experiences and more information is great for everyone to understand. About these, to understand these products. But okay then, well, I've just been rambling on, and I probably sound terrible. So anyway, but thanks for watching. Yeah, watch out for my follow-up videos on this, and a polish review, not one of these kind of sucky, kind of rambling things. I'm terrible at these, but I still try them just because, it's practice, isn't it? But anyway, well, thanks ever so much for watching. So I'll be back soon. Stay tuned. Happy simming out there, and bye-bye for now.